the United States waived visa requirements for Caribbean nations in the year 2025. And no, this is not a conspiracy theory. We're talking about real policy changes, diplomatic maneuvers, strategic agendas, and let's not overlook the United States' move to compete with China and Russia in the Caribbean region. So, which islands made it onto the list, and why did the final name catch even seasoned analysts off guard? Stay tuned. The passport politics you're about to uncover could shift the balance of power in the Atlantic. Barbados, a small island with a population of just under 300,000 people, has built a reputation as the calm cousin of the Caribbean. With low crime rates, a stable government, and almost no protests against the United States. It also proudly boasts a literacy rate of 99.7%, one of the highest in the Western Hemisphere. Adding to its appeal are clean infrastructure, safe residential neighborhoods, and strong internet connectivity, essential factors for anyone considering living abroad. Jim Ellsworth, a 70-year-old from Ohio, said, "I visited last year. My Social Security benefits exceeded my expectations. People were incredibly kind, and I didn't feel like a target at all." And he is not the only one who feels that way. In the year 2020, Barbados introduced a 12-month visa called the Welcome Stamp, which attracted more than 2,500 Americans in just its first year. So why does Barbados top the list of countries with the highest potential for visa exemption? Barbados doesn't ruffle any feathers. They avoid reporting on Chinese military agreements or anti-American speeches at the United Nations. Some people believe this is exactly why they were the first country to be granted visa-free access. But is playing nice really the price of admission? If we only reward countries that never push back, immigration expert Lila James warns, what message are we actually sending? Share your thoughts in the comments and get ready, because next, we'll take a look at a country that will completely change the way you think about borders. A twin island paradise nestled in the heart of the Caribbean. With a population of fewer than 55,000 people and more beaches than traffic lights, St. Kitts and Nevis feels like a whispered secret among seasoned travelers. But just beneath its postcard-perfect surface lies a bold policy. In St. Kitts and Nevis, if you have roughly $150,000 to invest, you can buy citizenship. No need for a years-long waiting process. No language tests, no residency requirements. Just write a check and you'll receive a St. Kitts passport, a valuable document granting visa-free access to more than 150 countries, including the European Union, and potentially the United States if recent visa changes take effect. That has sparked a heated debate. If billionaires from Russia or China can essentially buy their way in, what does that say about the system? One comment that quickly went viral in Washington asked bluntly, "So, you're telling me a billionaire can stroll into America with a St. Kitts passport, while retirees like us have to jump through hoops just for a simpler life?" Supporters say the Citizenship by Investment program keeps the country running. According to the International Monetary Fund, it accounts for more than 1/4 of the nation's gross domestic product, helping fund schools, hospitals, and hurricane recovery. We rebuilt the Children's Hospital with that money. Without it, we'd still be waiting, said a local official in 2023. But critics warn that these programs could become a backdoor for criminals, fraud, passport laundering, and fake identities. A 2022 report even revealed that some CBI passports were granted to individuals later linked to financial crimes or subject to global sanctions. So, if St. Kitts gets visa-free entry into the United States, what's stopping a shady billionaire from walking through the same door you're trying to enter, just to find a better life? And do ordinary Caribbean citizens truly benefit from these deals? Or is this just another way for the elite to grow richer while regular people remain stuck? And just when you think this story couldn't get any more tangled, there's another Caribbean nation that has mastered the art of playing both sides and might be quietly pulling ahead of its rivals in the visa game. If you're ready to explore more, show us by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell. Antigua and Barbuda, tropical, tranquil, and tactically sharp. They've charmed the United States through regional security summits, customs data sharing, and an image of being ideal allies in the fight against drug trafficking. On paper, everything looks clean and cooperative. But if you listen closely to those on the inside, the cracks start to show. Is Antigua really our partner, or just a seasoned player bluffing in a high-stakes diplomatic poker game? Some policy experts warn that small Caribbean nations like Antigua are walking a fine line between independence and dependence. They offer just enough to keep Washington satisfied while quietly building ties with China and other global powers. One diplomat even said, "They tell the United States exactly what it wants to hear, but they're always hedging their bets." So what happens if Antigua switches sides in the year 2026? Could visa-free travel be revoked overnight? Then there's the passport issue. Antigua sells citizenship. As much as 30% of their income comes from foreign nationals who essentially buy their way in through a program called Citizenship by Investment, according to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. And according to a United States Senate subcommittee in the year 2023, this program could be a weak link in America's visa system. It opens the door to individuals with questionable intentions entering the United States. "I'm not saying I don't trust the island," said 73-year-old David Ellis from Michigan. "I just don't know who's walking in behind me. I came here for peace, not to feel like part of some kind of security experiment." What's the real foundation behind all of this? Laws passed quietly, like the CBP, Clearance Expansion Act, now allow U.S. agents to operate directly inside Caribbean airports. Other laws permit U.S. intelligence to share data with local agencies. So visa-free travel is a transaction. You host our border agents, we let your people in. If not, your visas are getting locked. If you're still watching and finding this information helpful, leave your mark on this video. Drop a comment with where you're tuning in from so I can give you a proper shout-out. Up next is one of the Caribbean's most iconic names, and the United States' love-hate history with this island chain might just surprise you. The Bahamas is just a short flight away from Miami, offering a sense of closeness, familiarity, and even comfort. For many Americans, it feels like an extension of their own backyard, a sunny retreat to escape the winter and enjoy their retirement savings under the warm sun. But behind those postcard-perfect scenes lies a more complex story. This chain of islands is not only about beaches and rum, it is also one of the most well-known offshore financial centers in the world. Back in the 1990s and early 2000s, investigations by the United States Department of the Treasury linked Bahamian banks to money laundering activities and shady shell companies. And while oversight has improved since then, reports as recent as the year 2021 still question just how transparent the financial system really is, who owns what, and just how deep the rabbit hole goes. Leonard Shaw, a 66-year-old from Florida who has visited the islands 9 times and counting, put it this way: "There is more behind those palm trees than just coconuts." The United States government knows that too. For many decades, Washington has had a love-hate relationship with the Bahamas. On one hand, it is close, friendly, and easy to monitor. On the other hand, it has been labeled as a tax evasion paradise. And now, as visa-free travel for Bahamian citizens is being debated, the stakes are getting higher. Lawmakers are asking, if we relax the rules, are we opening the door to financial loopholes we may not be able to control? From a broader perspective, what is happening in the Bahamas is part of a larger trend. The United States is not just rewarding friendly nations, it is also using visa waivers as a bargaining chip across the Caribbean, trying to outmaneuver competitors like China. What do you think about using visa policies this way? Share your thoughts in the comments. And stay tuned, the next country might just ignite a new wave of competition across the Caribbean for years to come. St. Lucia, with a population of just over 180,000 people, is quietly building a reputation as the model student of the Caribbean region. This isn't just about waving flags and hoping for special treatment. St. Lucia has implemented reforms in digital banking, passed laws on financial transparency, and has even signed on to U.S.-backed education initiatives aimed at training a new generation of cybersecurity professionals and public health experts. So, what message are they sending to Washington? We are serious, we are stable, and we're on your side. At first glance, this seems like a win-win. Better governance, cleaner records, a brighter path ahead. But across online forums and Caribbean diplomatic circles, a pressing question is emerging. Why them and not us? According to a 2023 report from the Caribbean Policy Research Institute, many regional leaders believe that U.S. visa decisions are driven less by fairness and more by political alignment. Take Dominica, for example. The country has made strides in green diplomacy and education, yet it hasn't received the same praise. Their so-called mistake? A closer relationship with China. So, is the United States rewarding genuine progress or simply punishing anyone who turns toward the East instead of the West? A diplomat from the Eastern Caribbean, speaking with the Jamaica Gleaner, did not hesitate. If this is a matter of values, then judge us based on merit. But if it is a matter of loyalty, then be honest and call it what it is: selective diplomacy. But what if there is a country that has done everything right, maintained a neutral stance, focused on peace, and quietly supported United States resolutions? Let's find out. Grenada, with just over 124,000 people, is quietly reshaping its reputation in the Caribbean. While other countries chase big-name partnerships, Grenada has leaned into regional peacekeeping, education, and healthcare diplomacy. The nation has signed joint security initiatives with the United States, supported American votes at the United Nations, and maintained a respectful distance from both China and Russia. That calm, balanced stance? To many in Washington, it speaks volumes, and in a good way. But not everyone is convinced. During a congressional hearing in the year 2024, a senior lawmaker warned, "Neutral doesn't mean harmless, it could mean unpredictable, and that's the heart of the matter." Is Grenada's silence a sign of reliability or simply a clever strategy to stay under the radar? In today's high-tension world where outspoken critics are often sidelined and quiet partners rewarded, it's a fair question. Just ask William Green, a 69-year-old from Ohio. Last year, he spent a week in Grenada and said he felt safer walking around at midnight than in some parts of Chicago. No blaring sirens, respectful locals, cheap groceries, rent for a one-bedroom apartment in the suburbs, about $400 a month, dinner for under $10. He's seriously considering retiring there, but when he told his brother about the potential for visa-free travel, the response was sharp. What if things don't go as planned? What if they change the rules after you move? And that's the dilemma. Grenada still runs a citizenship by investment program, and critics worry that if the country joins the United States visa waiver program, it could spark controversy. In fact, the Migration Policy Institute warned in a 2023 report that if Grenada gets the green light, anti-immigration groups could sound the alarm. So, are we rewarding nations for staying quiet while punishing those who speak out or align themselves with the East? William put it best. "I don't want politics ruining my peace, but if that visa-free travel comes through, I'm on the next flight." And if you think Grenada is complicated, just wait until we dive into the places where power, politics, and crime intersect in ways that could make them America's next best ally or its biggest headache. Trinidad and Tobago is a land of stark contrasts, vibrant street parades and the rhythmic beat of steel drums on the surface. But beneath that energy lies the true economic power in oil, natural gas, and international trade. This is one of the wealthiest locations in the Caribbean. Yet if you ask lawmakers in the United States about granting visa-free access, the reaction is harsh. This would be a security nightmare, they warn, pointing to headlines filled with gang violence, drug busts, and a murder rate that reached 39 per 100,000 people in the year 2023, one of the highest rates in the Western Hemisphere. Critics are unrelenting. "You want people from there walking into the United States without a visa?" they shout. But here's the part they don't talk about. Trinidadians living in the United States are among the most highly educated immigrant groups in the country. More than 68% hold a college degree or higher, according to the Migration Policy Institute. You'll find them in hospitals, engineering firms, and classrooms. Just ask 72-year-old Frank Holland from the state of Georgia. After suffering a heart attack, it was his cardiologist, a Trinidadian who grew up near the city of San Fernando, who saved his life. Frank later traveled to Trinidad and was stunned. The cost of living was roughly 40% lower than in Florida. The people were sharp, respectful, and driven. "No one talks about how smart this place is," he said. And as the United States grapples with a shortage of doctors and nurses, visa-free travel for skilled Trinidadians could be a lifeline. In fact, a report from the year 2023 by the Association of American Medical Colleges projected a shortage of up to 124,000 physicians by the year 2034. What if visa waivers for Trinidadians not only allowed tourists to enter, but also ushered in a new wave of nurses, specialists, and engineers? Could this controversial move actually become a quiet advantage? Sociologist Celeste Jordan believes it's time to confront the double standard. "We cheer when a European chef or a German scientist gets a green card, but we raise our eyebrows when it's a Caribbean doctor," she asked. This isn't about safety. It's about perception. And if you think this nation is controversial now, wait to see what comes next. Can saving the environment earn a seat at America's table, or is it just politics painted green? Dominica, a small and often overlooked island nestled between Guadeloupe and Martinique, is a quiet, peaceful place. Recently, however, it has unexpectedly become a favorite destination among global climate advocates. After Hurricane Maria swept through the island in the year 2017, Dominica not only rebuilt, but also pledged to become the world's first climate-resilient nation. Since then, the country has aggressively promoted renewable energy, signed international environmental agreements, and poured funding into eco-friendly infrastructure. The United Nations Development Program has referred to this as a model for green recovery, and progressive voices in Washington are beginning to take notice. Some believe that granting Dominica entry into the United States visa waiver program would send a powerful message that the United States values sustainability. But not everyone is applauding. Dominica is also a country where foreign nationals can purchase citizenship. $100,000 will get you a passport, even if you've never set foot on the island. That makes some critics uneasy. Is planting trees really more important than thorough background checks? A report from Brookings, published in the year 2023, warned that visa decisions may be shifting from matters of national security to political favoritism. Dominica has kept its record clean with Interpol and meets United States standards. But is that enough? Harold Davis, a 67-year-old from Arizona, had never even heard of Dominica until he watched a video showcasing its solar-powered homes in serene community gardens. Living on a retirement income of $1,600 per month, the idea of $300 rent and homegrown affordable food was appealing. "It looks peaceful," he said, "and affordable. But if I can just move there because they recycle better than other places, that feels a little shaky." And that's the growing concern. Are these open-door policies built to last, or are they tied to whatever trend is currently popular in Washington? If Dominica's green dream helps them gain visa-free access, what message does that send to the rest of the world? Will countries start planting trees not to save the planet, but to earn a ticket to the United States? If you're still watching and found this valuable, comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Up next is a bold country, and it may be the only name on this list that sparks more emotions and controversy than all the others combined. What happens next could turn the entire visa debate on its head. Jamaica. Just hearing the name stirs up a wave of emotions. The rhythm of reggae music, the explosion of spicy flavors, the pride and defiance of its people. But right now, Jamaica is at the center of one of the fiercest debates in United States immigration policy. Experts say that if Jamaica were to gain visa-free travel to the United States, it would be one of the most groundbreaking changes in immigration history. And with nearly 1,100,000 Jamaicans, either born there or of Jamaican heritage, currently living in the United States, this is more than just a political issue. It's personal. Despite the deep ties between the two nations, Jamaica has never been granted visa-free access. And now, things are getting tense. Critics are quick to point to the numbers, an overstay rate above 10% flagged by the United States Department of Homeland Security, and frequent headlines about gang violence and drug crime. But for those who've actually lived there, the story feels very different. Doug Timmons, who spent 3 months living in Jamaica on a fixed income, paid around $1,200 a month to live outside the tourist areas, surrounded by local residents. I saw elderly women selling mangoes on the street, kids in uniforms walking home from school, he said. It felt real, peaceful. Crime? I didn't feel it. What I felt was connection. That's the contradiction, because Jamaicans aren't just visitors to the United States. They've helped build it. From Bob Marley's message of unity to nurses in New York hospitals, from Olympic gold medals to spicy patties in every city, they've become part of the culture. And yet, they're still held at arm's length. Dr. Sharon Henry questions why Jamaica continues to be overlooked. We're still reacting out of Cold War fear, she says. We ignore the fact that other countries, especially in Europe, have similar crime statistics and overstay rates. Yet they're welcomed with open arms. 70-year-old Earl Winston, a retired bus driver in Tampa, shares the same frustration. 3 of my old friends in Queens are Jamaican, he says. 2 are nurses. 1 owns a plumbing company. I trust them more than half the politicians on TV. Earl is frustrated. He says America loves Jamaican music, loves their athletes, loves their food, but doesn't trust their people, he asks. That's a double standard. So what if visa-free travel doesn't cause problems, but instead helps families reunite, boosts small businesses, and makes the system more fair? What if Jamaica is the test to see whether heritage and culture matter more than outdated statistics? Because if Jamaica finally makes it through the door, it's not just a change in visa policy. It's a message about who America welcomes and why. And just when you think the list couldn't get any more surprising, next up is a tiny island. It's quiet, low profile, and somehow jumped ahead in the visa line. Why them? And what does that mean for the countries still waiting? Let's find out. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, not the noisiest place, not the wealthiest, and certainly not the most visited, has suddenly found itself at the center of attention. With a population of just over 110,000 people spread across 32 small islands and sandbars, this peaceful Caribbean nation might soon join the exclusive group of countries whose citizens are allowed visa-free travel to the United States. And it's not about money or power. It's because St. Vincent and the Grenadines plays fair with Washington. They have supported the United States' positions at the United Nations, joined the International Criminal Court, and earned top marks for anti-corruption reforms, according to the 2022 Caribbean Index by Transparency International. U.S. officials have described it as a trustworthy partner. But elsewhere in the Caribbean, people are raising their eyebrows. Why SVG? Why not larger countries like Haiti, Guyana, or the Dominican Republic, all of which have deeper ties with the United States, larger populations, or booming economies? Critics are asking, is the U.S. rewarding quiet compliance instead of genuine need? That question resonates with retirees like Mike Leland, a 69-year-old from Indiana. He had never even heard of SVG until someone mentioned a beachfront rental for under $500. He went to check it out and was blown away. Quiet beaches, fresh local food, friendly people, and a total monthly cost of living under $1,200, including health insurance. It's not flashy, Mike said, but it feels real, like the old Caribbean before it got overrun. Now he's just waiting. If they lift the visa requirement? That's it. I'm moving. 11 Caribbean nations are now at the center of a policy shift that could reshape immigration, retirement planning, and regional power dynamics. But the biggest question still remains. Will these changes actually happen in the year 2025? Will Congress step in? And what about the countries left off the list? Will they object? Because the real change might not lie in the countries being chosen, but in the ones being left behind. If you found today's video interesting, don't hesitate to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Your support is very important to us. Be sure to check out the next video appearing on your screen. You're sure to love the content we bring. Please leave a comment about which country you'd like us to explore next. Thank you for watching, and see you in the latest video. Thanks for being with us on this great journey. Leave your thoughts in the comments and like to help us. Remember to subscribe for more. See you soon.